And I was a stay-at-home dad pretty much, because childcare was so expensive. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna like work to give someone else money to raise my kids. My family was growing. I mean, it sucked, bro, to be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude.
Tell me more.
Looking at it, and she read it, dude, and I looked at her, and she had like tears. She's like, babe, you have to do this. And I was like, I was a Mr. Dad, Mr. Mom, whatever you want to call it, with the sling and the baby here, pushing the stroller, dropping the kids off at school,
Ruslan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am with a friend today. A bit of a different conversation you guys may be used to. This is someone that I've had the privilege of hanging out with, and like in my real life. My son and his son go to the same school. Excuse me, his children, not just one, go to the same school, and they help out. We aren't allowed to call it a school. What can we call it? A co-op?
Co-op, I think, is the official.
Yeah. Our families attend the same co-op, and I've had the privilege of getting to know Eric de la Cruz. You got a really powerful story, man, and I really wanted you to share the conversation we had about a year ago. I think we were at Great Wolf Lodge, hanging out, and you opened up and kind of gave me some of your backstory, specifically your career trajectory, and how much everything has changed for you within the last couple years or so.
I would say about 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you take me back to just the beginning of where you were at in your faith with God, where you were at in your family, and how different things are now?
Yeah, so pretty much I was exposed to the word as, I don't know, pretty young, at a young age, with Great Glory at Harvest.
Oh, okay.
And so, I did the altar call thing and raised my hand.
Props to Pastor Greg Glory, he's a friend of the channel.
Yeah. So, but I kind of like continued my life, not really like being a true believer and just kind of like doing my own thing and, teenage years and all that. And I think it all pretty much changed for me in 2013.
Okay.
That's when like I started taking my walk seriously. And so pretty much at the time, dude, it was just, I was kind of like working. I grew up like in the auto body industry, kind of wrenching on cars and stuff and
working with your hands, real blue collar stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And like summers, I'd be sanding bumpers and taking cars apart and putting them back together, that kind of thing. And so that kind of like gave me the skill set, with my hands and tools and stuff. So, and then, things happened and Pops got in trouble, So I kind of did a lot of like, work here for a little bit, work there for a little bit, work here for a little bit.
Like odd jobs around.
Yeah, kind of,
stuff. Yeah.
Not even really like.
Or just kind of like
stuff.
whatever
kinda
you had
just
to do.
Like I hit up a homie, he's like, dude, I need a job.
Yeah.
So,
Like, and you're in Southern California.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So, just kind of like did sales for a little bit and worked at a clinical lab for a little bit, type of thing, warehouse for a little bit. And so this opportunity came up where, I was kind of like, it was my oldest, Ethan.
I'm excited to bring to you guys our first ever Bless God Summit happening March 27th, 28th, 29th in Southern California. The Beat's very own Alan Parr and Jen Parr, my guy John McCrae from the What Do You Meme YouTube channel, Preston Perry, Dr. Sean McDowell, Live Actions, Lila Rose, Trizzle Fitness, my pastor Jeff and his wife Erin Moores, as well as live performances from America's Got Talent winner Dustin Savella, Ryan Horton leading worship, Dirt Poor Robbins, and a special concert from John Keith and Miles Minnick. And listen, the goal of this conference is so that we can be the solution to all this craziness as we're coming out of a very tumultuous 2024. I don't know who's going to win this election, but I know there's going to be a lot of upset people come 2025. Now, this is our first conference that we're doing, but this is not our first live event. About a year ago, we did a 3-hour event where we brought in some of the same speakers, and here's some of the feedback from the people that attended that event.
One of the things that stood out to me was how you need to be secure in the Word of God and how reliable it is.
Making sure that God is in my personal ambition.
The reason this is important is because the church has to gather. If you're somebody who is on the edge or on the fence of wondering if you should jump in or not, jump in.
The health of my body is connected to my spiritual health, and that I need to take care of it.
Be prepared to bring your notebook and be prepared to be reminded that
You are made for more.
I'm excited to announce that we really want to get as many of you there as we can. So we developed a couple of things. One, we now have a full scholarship opportunity. For those of you guys that are like, Ruslan, I want to be there. Man, but the way my bank account is set up right now, I just can't cut it, bro. Okay, great. We have a scholarship available where you can fill out a scholarship, and we have opportunities for those of y'all that got it and got the funds and you want to sponsor someone. We have opportunities to sponsor someone, and right inside of the ticket sales section, and an opportunity to buy a pay it forward ticket, as well as group discounts. If you want to bring a bunch of your friends, or if you're a pastor and you want to bring your whole staff, those are available as well. And there's now even payment plans. So you could put a little bit down now, and I think it'll take it out every month or so. But there is some bad news. If you're watching this right now, that means you already missed the very first price jump. The prices were super cheap, and when we initially launched this, now they went up. They're going to go up again in a few weeks. So go to blessgodsummit.com now to get your tickets, to apply for a scholarship, to sponsor someone going that needs to be there. And I can't wait to see you guys, hang out with you guys in person, March 27th, 28th, 29th, here in beautiful North County, San Diego, Carlsbad, California.
I think it was like 8 or 9, dude. We were playing pony baseball. And I was one of the
how long
coaches.
have you been married at this point?
Oh, I mean, we got married in 2014.
Okay.
So
married 10 years. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
And how many kids?
We have 3.
Okay.
But we met in high school.
Okay.
So we kind of like, did the off and on thing for a little bit, dude. Took a while to figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
But so pretty much I was, what was I at? What was I
So your son's 8 and 9
yeah,
at this point. You're trying to figure out from a life standpoint.
Yeah,
what's going on.
I remember coaching his team, and there was another coaches on the other team, and this dude just looked like he was successful, you know? And it's like, he drove like a nice car. His kid had the nice gear, the nice baseball gear. His wife had a sick whip that she drove. I think it was like an Escalade, you know? And it's like, our eyes are like drawn to that, right? And so but we didn't talk because we were on the Dodgers and he was on the Giants. So, we didn't talk, you know what I mean? But at the end of the year, our kids made all-stars together. So then I got to know him. I'm like, dude, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm a lineman. I'm like, what's that? And so that kind of like stuck in my head, and I started kind of like researching a little bit.
And what is alignment for people who may
so
not
basically alignment is we work on the power lines.
Okay.
So there's we just make sure that the power gets from generation to your house basically.
Okay.
We maintain our electrical infrastructure.
Usually for whatever company is providing the electrical in the area.
Yeah. So, it could be for utility or it could be for like a contractors.
Got it.
So anyway, I started looking into it, and I just kind of had like that feeling like, dude, I could do this, And so some time went by, and kind of like Pops, he got out of prison and stuff. So I went back to work with him, and family kind of working together, kind of So I was like, dude, I gotta find something else, So I mean, this is all the Lord right here, bro. I was on a waiting list to get into this school so I can get my pole climbing certificate so I can pursue this path, right? I was on this waiting list for about a year, 2 years. Like, I forgot I was on the waiting list.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I ended up, in between. So there was like a gap to where I stopped working at the body shop to where I started with this line school. And it was about a year gap. And I was a stay-at-home dad, pretty much, because childcare was so expensive. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna like work to give someone else money to raise my kids. My family was growing, and my wife was making like decent money, like doing bookkeeping stuff. So I'm like, I mean, it sucked, bro, to be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude.
Tell me more.
I was just like depressed, dude.
Really?
And like, I mean, I embrace it. Like, I was a Mr. The Mr. Dad, Mr. Mom, whatever you want to call it, with the sling and the baby here, pushing the stroller, dropping the kids off to school, you know? I go home, dude, and just do laundry and stuff. And
you found contentment in it, even though that wasn't really your heart's desire.
It was, dude, but it wore out like in a couple months, bro.
So it was cool initially,
It
and
was
then you were
super
like,
dope initially.
yeah,
You know,
you were like, ooh,
and
this is rough.
after that, dude, like I was doing dishes and I remember my hands getting all like dried and cracked, and I was like, dude, I had to get like rubber gloves and stuff, and you know, but like
Hard work, man.
Yeah, it was, dude. Seriously,
Yeah.
and it never stopped, you know. But during that time, dude, I was like super like depressed, you know, and I was reading my Bible like a grip because I had like time during nap times and stuff.
Sure.
And
how many kids are you taking care of at home?
right now, there was 3.
3.
Yeah,
All
so
of
one of them
were
was a
at-
baby.
Whoa.
Yeah,
so
so
you got a newborn. How old is the?
He's 6 now. So Enzo, so he was like 3 months.
Okay.
You
Wow.
know, 3 maybe 6 months during that time.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And so yeah, dude, I was just like doing that, and then I remember just like dude, I was like bawling one time, and I was just like, Lord, like, why do you have me here? You know, like I know that I'm supposed to be the provider. You know, and like, dude, that was our prayer.
How did you know that?
Just like the man is supposed to be the provider.
You just instinctually knew, or was
No,
there
like
passages of scripture?
yeah,
you
there's
read?
like passages, you
Okay,
know, where
gotcha.
it's like, you know, you're like the man's just the provider, you know,
Yeah.
and just like so I was just like, man, like, why am I here? Like, why do you have me here? You know, I don't know. I guess I was kind of like upset too, you know, but I knew that, I mean, I was supposed to be like, I wanted that role, dude, the provider, you know? So, this school that I was going to go to, they hit me up, and no, it was an email, and they're like, class starts in a month. The first 80 guys or 60 guys, whatever, you guys, you know, the first 60 get a spot. If you're a minute late, then you have to start all over again. So like, I remember getting that email, dude, and I was like so discouraged. I didn't even like really finish reading it. I was like, dude, I can't do it. Like my wife works, like I watch the kids. How am I gonna? It's like a full-time job, you know. Like it's Monday through Friday from like 7 a.m. till like 2 o'clock. Like there's no way.
And how long was the program?
It was a 6 months.
6 month
Yeah,
program.
it was a 6 month thing.
So you got to hit pause on a big chunk of your life.
Yeah,
To do this thing.
you know. So it was like it was impossible, right? So I remember like we were driving down to go eat, and I told my wife, she was I was like, yo, babe, they hit me up from line school. She's like, well, what'd they say? I'm like, psh, I don't even know. I didn't even finish reading it, you know. I'm like, here, pull it up, you know. She's looking at it, and she read it, dude, and I looked at her, and she had like tears. She's like, babe, we have to do this. And I was like, all right, like, you know, we'll figure it out, you know. And so then my mom, who she was working at the time, and like, you know, I go, show up early, sign up, and they're like, all right, you start this date. All right, cool. So I was like, dude, what are we gonna do with the kids, you know? And
You got 3 kids
Yeah.
all at home.
yeah.
Whew.
So like the week before, bro, my mom is like, I got laid off today. She's like, you have your babysitter.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was like all the Lord, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool. So, you know, I did it, and then just grinded, dude, you know, learned how to climb poles.
Was it hard?
Yeah, dude, it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
6 months.
6 months, not getting paid, to just like, you know, it was kind of tough.
Yeah.
And so then anyways, you know, so then at this school, we would go volunteer at, there's this thing called rodeos, like lineman rodeos. They're basically like competitions
Okay.
for dudes to get up, you know. There's different events. One event could be get up on this pole, change out a fuse, you know, and there's a team of guys that go up, and there's competing from all over, right? So we would go and help out, like take out trash and stuff like that. Like our class went, and I remember meeting someone from this company, and so we pull up in the morning, and just God put me in the right place, right time, dude. And this lady's like offloading some plastic totes onto a dolly with a flat tire, and we're parked in this field with a bunch of gopher holes and stuff. And I was like, hey, you need some help? So I take her dolly down to like her booth, and she hands me her card. And she's like, here, when you're done with your certifications, let me know. I'm like, all right, cool.
Simple act of kindness.
Yeah.
Just looking to serve her and just be a good godly man.
That's
you
it,
get the
dude.
car. You established that initial.
Yeah, bro. And so
connection.
it was just like, I remember looking at the car and I was, reading the company. I was like, where's this, And so the day that I finished with my certifications, I emailed her. I was like, hey, I'm ready. And so she's like, okay, send me your resume, this and that. Sent to her, and then I got an email from like their HR department like the next day. Here, take this test. Boom, 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 boom. Take the test. All right, now take this one. Boom, boom, boom. And then, meanwhile, that time, like right after that, I went to Northern California. So I had to be away from my family for like Monday through Friday. I would drive down to stay the weekend, and I had to go back up Sunday night, or sometimes like early Monday morning, just to go straight to the job.
Wow. And this was the job, or this is still training?
No, this is after training. But so after you get your training, you go to the IBEW, to the union, and you sign the books, and then they, if a call comes in, if a need comes in, pretty much, then they say, oh, go. Okay. So I went to, when you're done, dude, when you're trying to get into the trade, you go to any company you can. You just want to get your foot in the door. Yeah, you just want to get your foot in the door. So I signed up at Local 47, which is like in Riverside, and then 1245, which is Northern California. And Northern California, they called me like, I want to say within like a week from finishing my certifications. Because you want to like start working, you don't want to like wait.
Sure.
And just, because let's say if you do get interviewed or something, then they're going to see like, they want you to see that you've been busy, that you're in, construction or you're digging holes or you're doing whatever, right?
Yep.
So that call came in, I go up, I take it, I start working, come down on the weekends, go up, come down on the weekends, go up. So during that time period, my interview, like I'm getting interviewed and stuff like that, right? So it took me 8 weeks before they hired me. Boom.
Jeez.
And that's fast, bro.
Yeah.
Like there's some dudes that were trying to get in. It's been like years.
Wow.
Yeah. So like that's, boom, Lord hooked me up right there.
Now, wasn't there a competition that you also had, or does this come after?
Yeah. So that competition,
Well, you
that's
met the
where
lady
I met,
with the card. Yeah.
That's where I met this lady, and she, hooked me up. But also, because they only hire like, I want to say 2 times a year. So like that hiring was going on exactly when I met her. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how
the
did you
timing
do in
was
the
just
competition?
Perfect. I wasn't performing.
You weren't performing.
Yeah, I wasn't on a team. I was just there taking out trash.
Oh, okay, got you. Got you.
Yeah, I was just there as a student, pretty much wanting to be one of those guys.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, anyways, I started working, and so I was doing the commute. It was like 98 miles one way.
That's a far way in California miles, by the way, with traffic and stuff.
Dude, it was horrible. But I looked at it like this. But I'm home every night.
Yeah.
And I'm not in Northern California. Like I'm right here. I'm going from San Diego to LA.
Yeah. Yep.
Fridays was horrible, dude. It took me like 4 hours to get home on Fridays.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So did that, and then COVID hit, and then that's when like the schools were shut down. So I'm like, babe, like let's move.
How deep were your roots in LA?
Oh, everything. Everything's in
family,
LA. Born and
church,
raised.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we came down here, it was just like, it was, dude, I would come down to like work, and I felt like I was on a different like planet almost, like as soon as you cross Pendleton, it's like, I felt like alone, dude, like all these guys, like I'm in this new company, like they all know each other, like I know nobody, and so it was tough, dude. And so then when we came down here, it's like, dude, it's like I got my family now, I got my woman with me, I got my kids. So that was a huge change.
Just being able to relocate to San Diego.
Dude, huge. And then my plan was always like, I'm gonna get hired, I'm gonna work down here, I'm gonna get my journeyman's card, and I'm gonna bounce. I'm gonna go back to LA, Well, that changed, bro. Like after being down here for a little bit, I was like, dude, this place is like It's dope.
It's the promised land.
Yeah, dude. It's
Especially
like,
in comparison to LA. No
Yeah,
disrespect
bro.
to LA.
Yeah, man.
It's
like,
very different.
very different. So I was like, dude, we're never going back, you know?
Yeah.
But so just, you know, and we were thinking like, man, we're like, where are we gonna go to church?
Yeah.
You know, like we don't know anyone down here and stuff. So my lady, like, you know, was having a conversation with one of her friends. She was like, why don't you check out, you know, Calvary Vista? And they're like, you know, they have a good youth program. So we're like, all right, let's check it out. Because, you know, we were gonna go to John Randolph, and but it was still kind of a drive and stuff. So when the first time we came down here, my oldest, he met some friends and stuff, and dude, it was like home, you know.
Shout out Calvary Chapel Vista.
Yeah, dude, Calvary Chapel Vista, bro.
Yeah.
Rob Salvato, dude, great teacher, bro. And so we just got plugged in, and you know, it's a small church, but it's like it's intimate, you know what I mean? And then just like meeting some of the other pastors there, like, dude, Pastor Jesse has been like the huge like influence to like me and like my family and stuff, and their family and our family, like our kids and everything. So it's been home, dude.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
So tell me a bit about what happened in your guys' life financially, right? Because this is what I'm running into, Eric, is I'm running into a lot of guys that are like, man, that's cool for you, Ruslan, but you're a YouTuber. Like it's different for you, right? You don't understand. It's difficult to be successful in this climate. You're telling me that I should consider building a life where my wife can stay home with the kids or have the option to at some point. Like that's impossible in this economy, right? And I feel like someone like you kind of defies all those odds and all those stereotypes. It's like, yes, it's harder than ever before, but there's also opportunities out there. And yes, you got to pray, and yes, you got to seek the Lord and be willing to sacrifice. But your entire financial trajectory has changed. You don't got to give me specific numbers, but just tell me what life is like different in terms of how's your family look, and now you're obviously the main breadwinner and the provider. And what does that ease in terms of your financial state?
I feel like this job's kind of like give and take, you know, because it does demand a lot from you. You know, it demands a lot of your time and a lot of the work. Like, dude, especially in the beginning, it's like it's hard, bro. You know, like you'll be
the physical climbing.
Oh yeah, you'll be on a pole for hours, dude, and you're just like stretching your guts out trying to just get some wire and, you know, up and everything. And but financially, I mean, my wife stays home. And we are able to purchase a house, our first home, which is probably like
in Southern California.
In arguably the worst time in human history to be able to purchase a house. You know what I mean? And
can I say this? We can clip this out if you feel uncomfortable saying this, but multiple six figures that you make.
Yeah, you know, it's there. You know, and I mean, I'm not like living in Rancho Santa Fe or nothing like that's a whole nother level, dude. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm cool with that. You know?
Yeah. And how many hours a week would you say you work?
I mean, typical is probably like maybe 30 to 40 hours of OT on a check.
Okay.
That's like
that's
maybe,
overtime.
So that's like
60 hours a week?
Yeah.
60 hours a week. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are long, hard hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Like and the hours sometimes they're like 30 hours straight.
30 hours straight.
Yeah.
So did you get time off in between?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, you can go get something to eat and stuff, and
okay. 30.
You know,
when do you sleep?
I mean, you might get like a couple hours in the truck or something, you know. Yeah, but like you're asleep like.
What's the longest stint
you've
like
ever
this,
done? You know.
What's the longest stint you've ever done?
42.
42 hours straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's brutal. How many weeks of vacation a year? How many months of vacation?
You start with 2.
Okay.
At my company, you start with 2. You know, every company's different. And you know, after like 5 years, you get another week. And then you have the option to buy a week. So like you pretty much tell the company like, I want another week of vacation, and they say, all right, that's cool. So we'll take, you know, like $100 out of each paycheck to pay for that week.
Got you.
Yeah.
So 2 up to 3, potentially 4 if you want to buy it.
So right now I'm at 4.
Okay.
Plus you get like 2 weeks of sick time.
Okay.
And
benefits, I'm sure.
yeah, benefits are good, you know.
Yeah.
You get a little like retirement package, and you know, each place is different. So the retirement, that the pension that I get right now, it's not as good as the pension that someone would get in the outside, you know, which is like, you know, slang for or code word for contractors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good, dude. Like, honestly, if someone's like good with tools and
Working with their hands.
good with working their hands, definitely not afraid of heights, and willing to just work hard and just provide for the family and just, you know, just grind, then, you know, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love that. Like, you're being honest in this. Like, you're not giving us a rosy picture. You're like, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's
it is,
hard
bro.
work, but it's rewarding. And from all of our interactions, I mean, we hung out at Great Wolf Lodge like on a Tuesday or something. You know what I mean? And I just saw it, and we just went back the second time. So it's like, you seem to have some form of balance in your life, meaning that I think work-life balance can be a misnomer. Like, you're going to have this perfect balance, right? Sometimes you go through grind seasons. Sometimes you go through rest seasons, right? But it seems like you have a degree of balance in that. Like, we talked about you taking the men's skills class at your church, the marriage skills class, which I went through men's skills. My wife went through women's skills. So it seems like you do have some margin for family and church and God and those commitments.
That comes later.
Okay.
When you're starting, you don't have like much freedom.
Okay.
Because you're expected to like work.
Put your head down and work.
Yeah, you know.
For how long? How long does that season last when you're starting?
Until you top out.
What does that mean?
So until you reach your journeyman status.
Okay. How long does that usually take?
Anywhere between 3 to 4 years, depending on where you're at.
Okay. So it takes a while to get to journeyman.
It takes a while.
And then you get a little bit of a breather.
And then you get a huge breather.
Okay.
And then you're just like, you know, pretty much like you made it.
Yep.
You know, but at the same time, you're still learning.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're a brand new journeyman. Like, you still like not seasoned. You know, it takes like up to 10 years, you know, some people would say, to be a seasoned journeyman. And so you pretty much know the rules and what you shouldn't be doing, what you should be doing.
Sure.
And now you're responsible for the new guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What I love about this is that this is a hard skill set that you have for the rest of your life. And not only is it a hard skill set, Zach, who you met earlier, just had a video release on his channel where he talks about like so much of the economy today is like digital skills.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is like potentially going to be outsourced by AI.
Yeah.
And like most people don't have hard skills they could pass down to their children. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, all right, man, like I could cook up some beats. Like, I could hop on and do a podcast. You know, I could set up the technology. But all that stuff is going to become easier and easier and easier and eventually obsolete, you know?
Yeah.
And so when you're doing blue collar work, yes, it's harder, and yes, there's sacrifices, but you're doing hard skills that, in my opinion, and I think that the data would suggest this, is like the least likely stuff that's going to get automized is the stuff, automated. Maybe that's it, right? Is the stuff that you're doing, is the type of work that you're doing, the plumbers, the people that are laying the electrical, like it's going to be hundreds of years before a robot is able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it happening. You know, like the technology, it helps us do our job, but I don't think there's gonna be a time where a robot goes up and, you know, makes connections.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's good. So high school diploma, college degree, what's your education
High
level?
school.
High school, okay.
yeah, some college, but
Some college.
Yeah.
So there's an Eric watching this right now. There's a version of you watching this from 5-10 years ago that maybe they're not a stay-at-home dad. Maybe they are a stay-at-home dad. Maybe they are just struggling in their career. They're struggling financially, and they hear all this stuff we talk about, and they go, "Man, that's cool, being a provider." Like, sure, but like, what words would you have for them? What encouragement would you have for them if they're in a season where it's hard and they're losing hope and despair is sinking in and all the craziness going on in the world? What word of encouragement and advice would you have for them?
So speaking to the Eric that has, you know, for the Eric that's out there that has kids and a family, I would just, like, if he's good with tools, if it's something that he's considering, then I would just have him just tell him to just go for it, man. You know, and just don't like leave your weight. Don't leave an out. You know, it's like marriage. You know, like you're gonna have your arguments. You know, like with your wife, and you're gonna have times where you just like can't stand each other. You know, but like that's kind of like the problem where with today's like, you know, relationships, where it's so easy to just throw in the towel.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, you know, God says what God put together, let no man separate. You know, like there's no room for that. And so it's like, dude, and I've been in some low times, dude, during like my marriage, you know, even just like recently, bro, it's like me and Aaron just like, dude, you know. And but like we always look to like church and through skills and classes and stuff to get through that, right? Well, you don't have that, like you don't have anyone like telling you, you know, like to get through it. You're kind of like on your own, you know. But if you do have that family, like you need to be on the same page with like your woman. You know, like my wife, dude, she's like my biggest cheerleader, you know, and she's the reason why I made it. You know, like she helped me, like we were in it together, you know. And I mean, I would eat dinner, like she would bring my dinner to my desk while I'm reading, because I have to take 3 tests the next day. You know what I mean? And she wouldn't like she would support me. And so you definitely need that. You know, you need that support. And it's not something that like you can do like on your own, you know?
Yeah.
And if you're like a single guy, honestly, dude, like you have like all the opportunity to do it. It's, you know, just go and like just work, you know. Like my mentality through everything was have like a heart of being a servant, you know, like how can I serve the guys, the crew that I'm with? You know, we have a specific job to, we have like a pole to change out or whatever. Like, all right, these guys, they're above me, so how can I help them? You know? And so they need this material, boom, there it is. You know, like they need whatever, right? And so that helped me a lot, dude, having that servant attitude.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And you know, just staying busy, man. You know, no idle hands. You know, it's you know, it's just like a work ethic kind of thing. You know. And just keep your nose to the plow, dude, and just go. You know, and you know, I think like the Lord will definitely open up doors. You know, and yeah, dude. So
dope, man. Thank you for sharing, brother.
Yeah.
Guys, if you want Eric to come back, share a bit more of his testimony, let me know. I think there's going to be a new series we're going to do of just regular people, folks that aren't all over social media, and you guys getting to know their stories and getting to know the things they do to figure out ways to provide for their family and love their family and lead them well. So, Eric, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. I know you got to get back.
Yeah, dude. And also, if anyone does reach out, you can send them like my email or something.
Okay.
You know,
for sure.
And I'll just, you know, talk to them or whatever.
Okay. You want your email public in the
I mean, yeah, it's, you know, my personal. I get a bunch of junk in there anyway, so.
All right. Well, link it here.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Love you guys. Peace. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.